Not so much. It's not so bad. It's chilly in the bits kind of a day in northern New Mexico. What's the temperature? It's brisk. Jack Frost has been through with his little wand, freezing everybody in their bits. It's 9:39 though? Where did that time go? Mom will be asleep for a while. 38 hourly. I can't determine what it was, but the lows are getting down in the 30s. When are we supposed to get snow? According to the imposed reality detector, who knows? They change it all the time. The 30th. First, second, and third. That's cool. Time is just moving right along. The cycles are just keep cycling. I made some notes for my talk today. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Heyoka empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. And I'm planting seeds. I've been planting a lot. I'm all over the place. I feel like a little marble on one of them roulette tables. I've never been a gambler. I think it's stupid to throw your money away. I'd rather give it to some homeless person on the street. And because of that, but I always knew people that like to gamble. That's how they, and I just wanted to go along to get along. So I'd go along to get along, and I'd listen there, I'd zone out on the cadence of like the machines. Like the machines would reflect the vibrational frequency, and that's why people gather in places like that, because they like to get caught up in the excitement. I just would rather go ride a bike or something, make some coffee and hang out with some strangers on a street corner. So all the other things I'd rather do than those silly things that people gather to do. And so, go Hannah Bear. What happens at a... So anyway, I those little marbles on the roulette table that would spin around. Is that the game? That spin around, you guess the number it's going to land on, and then it drops down. That's kind of what I feel like. Hi, Luna Tickle, it's a pretty girl. That's kind of what I feel like, because I know when the shift is happening. I know for us, me, Mom, Luna, and Stan Lee, the last of our little family, we're going to leave in the spring. We just don't know where we're going, so... I even put Northern California back up on the table, because it doesn't really matter where you go. It doesn't matter. It's like the land is always rad. Wherever I go, it's the land that is rad. I got to go where the people are cool. Where like attracts like. And I think it's so funny that we end up back where Mom was born and not allowed to be raised. And the people are fucking cool. Not cool. They're not cool. They're not. They might tell you how welcoming and inviting they are, and how, like they care more about naming a stupid park than the people that are slamming dope and leaving needles in the park. I can't align myself with that. They say, let Taos change you. You don't change Taos. And I'm like, I absolutely, insistently, adamantly will not allow fucking this Taos to bring me down to the low vibrational frequency of the Taos hum, which is based on born and raised. It's in every place. The place is just like it used to be. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Ideology. So, well, I'm going to make my own retreat. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my own retreat center. I'm going to make pamphlets and stuff like that. Only my retreat center, I'm not going to charge people. I'm just going to invite people to come hang out. Because I've been to so many retreats in my life. Back when I was in recovery, I went to retreats with like, people that relatives, heiresses to the Walgreens family fortune. It was like talking to a Barbie doll. She was like, because I tried to have a conversation with her, because I was like, I wonder what, like, where the places she's been and the things she's seen. And then it's just like every point of view of every other important person that's ever lived. And she was very trite and droll. And I went on my way. But I used to go to like retreats when I was in AA and stuff. The women would have retreats and sit in the. It was so weird to me how they would did it, and I always think, well, if I had my own, this is how I did it. Every job I ever had, like if I was running the place, this is how I would do it. And people just run things so inefficiently. So I'm gonna have my own retreat, and instead of having one person cook the meal, like Friday night, every meal they designate one person. What I'm gonna do is like my retreat is gonna have like cooking, because a lot of people don't know how to cook because they're too busy or for whatever reason. I don't know, but I want to just show them like, and so like the first night when everybody gathers and they put their luggages in their room and they decide where they're gonna hang out, and put their stuff away, unpack, settle in for a little bit, and then everyone will gather about 2, 3, 4 o'clock, and everyone will gather. You can unwind a little bit, take an hour to yourself, decompress, gather your thoughts, get used to your surroundings, and then gather in the kitchen area, and then everybody will do food prep. Everybody that participates in the retreat will do food prep, and we could all talk and kind of do it. That would be a good icebreaker. And then we create a meal together and then cook that meal, and then everybody will just love that meal so much because everybody put a little bit of themselves into that meal. And then once we eat the meal, you'll just, we could just have like a where you from kind of thing. And then the next morning get up early and then let's talk about changing the world. It's because I always see these, every place I lived, I've always lived around these places where they've had these spiritual giants that have healed, right? Like, we've healed! Like, it's an arrival, like it's a destination, right? And I'm like, no, dude, I keep getting knocked down by shit. It's a resilience thing. It's a test of resilience. It's not a healed destination and then try to avoid any bad feelings for the rest of your incarnation. It's not supposed to be like that. And so when people make bubbles for their lives and they see how other people live their lives unscathed, so they just want to do what they want to do. Like the whole, what is with the whole, we got taken to, the whole programming with Disneyland is so weird to me. Because people get stuck in that loop. And it's so weird. Like, why would you bring a newborn baby to Disneyland? Especially if you're of the spiritual variety, where you know that there's so many terrible things that happen there, because people just want to go along to get along, and I want to break the system that, I don't want to live on a planet where Disneylands exist. I don't want to live on a planet where people gather in stadiums and watch them throw a pig skin back and forth. I don't want to live on a planet that does all those stupid, silly things that don't matter. Because look what happens when people play stupid games. They get hurt. Like how many, like I don't, because people don't, you only have a good few years in their soul sack. You only got a good few years. And oftentimes while people are chasing sensation during those good few years, they hurt themselves during those years, and then somebody has to end up compensating, picking up the slack for what they can't do for themselves anymore. Like, look at all the people in Hollywood that have dropped out of public eye because they got wet brains and they call it dementia. And but no, it's you drank too much, you did too many drugs, or put holes in your brains. You know, you were machismo, and now be glad that the universe gave you afforded you the benefit of not remembering what a complete asshole you used to be, and you're not that way anymore. That's great, but you rob yourself of a good life. I see Bruce Willis when I say these things. I remember when we growing up and my brother would get to dominate the TV, and when I get to watch the TV, pick the shows, and where I get to watch, I wake up in the middle of the night, watch Turner Classic Movie channels, the old shit. That's the only time I really get to watch, and it was always stuff you wanted to watch, and he'd pick weird stuff. He'd pick like Smurfs. I hated that cartoon. And he'd pick like Barney Miller, and what's that other guy's name? Just dumb, like MASH, just that stupid stuff. Just the program, the mainstream program. And I always live from my heart. I always live from the native part of my soul and not the colonial part of my being. The earthly bound, chasing sensation, ego stuff. Do what I said because of who I am. Don't you know who I am? Blah, blah, blah. Every fucking time. If I had a square acre for every time some asshole said to me, don't you know who I am? And then they had like spit flying out of their mouth. I just want to giggle. Makes me laugh. They're the machismo. They're the machismo. I'm getting hot. Oh my goodness, I have so much fucking hair. It's so funny. I woke up yesterday and I poked a cub. Because cubs can never be king. Ain't that right, Larry Palmer? Good old Larry Palmer. I wonder if he hangs out with Arnie. Anyway, it's so funny. That guy it's like he has like this much hair, and he's a Leo. He has this much hair on his head, and it's all short, and he's like, oh, maybe I can hang on to who I used to be. Aren't they supposed to have big full hair? I'm not a Leo, but shit, I don't have that much real estate. But gee, this is what you could tell a lot. I could tell a lot about people. I'm trying to grow stuff back, so this is just how it goes. Whoops! Cut a little too much off one day. Lesson learned. If I'm trying to make more friends to help me do this stuff, but dude, freaking he sicked AI on me. And it's funny because he's the one that's been in like mental institutions. I ain't never been in a mental institution. I've been tested for everything, and I still manage not to have some ideas of grandiosity that make me think I'm so important I need a whole damn studio. I'm too busy, Mom. Ain't nobody else is gonna wipe Mom's butt, so. And I don't have time to go off and play for 4 hours while somebody else picks up this, Which brings me to the thought, people that have kids, how often are you a parent? See, I don't think that people that have kids, because so many people have kids are accidents. I was an accident. So many people have kids because they were just chasing a sensation. They were looking for that capital O. They were just trying to relieve pressure within themselves and escape their realities for a minute because it feels so good. That's all that they're trying to do. And then they end up pregnant. And then here's a whole ass life that, but they're so brilliant. People should be far more deliberate. Like, they should really know themselves before they determine when they're going to do it and make a human being 9 months later. And then they're forever dealing with the consequences of their actions. And then not just them, but the rest of the world. So, my knowing it's not my feeling, it's what I know adamantly in my soul, is people are only parents when those people in the presence of their children. So I think of how many hours people have been in the presence of their children. If you use the formula and add up, because they're not teaching their children how to go out and be good people. No, they're teaching their children to go out and do stupid stuff like go to Disneyland over like that program. Like they're teaching them how to pretend like they're in the military when they're watch that stolen valor. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. People want to pretend like they were in the military and they're of freedom and justice. It's a lie, dude. You don't. It's not even about. That's another thing, because he goes. I've heard his videos. I'm like, dude. He's talked about how he told himself to get himself kicked out because he saw the future. Okay, that's fine. That doesn't matter. Where in life was the commitment where you signed your name over to something bigger and you finished that commitment even though you know it's bullshit? That's where he falls short in so many ways, little guy. I just observe people. They can feel free to. I'll be glad to give my date of birth and my history and let him know. Send him my resume. That was yesterday, and now I'm thinking about the retreat and how many people out there are only parents for such a short amount of their children's life because they're not with their children for so much of their lives. And they're not instilling the good parts of themselves into their children so their children go out and make good choices. They're not doing that. They're training them like dogs, and then when the kids go out, the kids act free like crazy because they just let them do what they want. So when they go out and deal with how other people have to deal with their behavior, kids are great. It's the parents that freaking ruin them. I'm so glad I never had kids. That's karma that I could be done with incarnating altogether because I didn't have no kids. Because it's a big responsibility, and I saw what Mom went through to try and take care of us. And I also saw that the system is stacked, and you just can't go out there and get help because your dad decides to go fucking be a cokehead truck driver on the road. Try and, put it wherever he could, because that's what machismos did. Man, there's so many women that have this idea of what their life was going to be because they saw it on TV, and they wanted to mirror that, and then they go out and try and make that happen, and then they're left holding the bundle. I've seen that too many times. So, my retreat is also going to have wood shop. It's going to have wood shop when people have we can come out to the garage and all safely. And it's going to have auto shop too, so I could teach people how to just do everyday maintenance and just like every shift of the season, lift up your car, look under your hood, and look where hoses are moist and stuff like that. Check your levels. Make sure you're good to go before you get into fall and winter, so that way you're not broke down on the side of the road. And I'm super excited. I'm having modifications done to my Mom and me, our little apocalypse wagon. I'm doing mods. I'm gonna have new bumpers put on. I'm gonna see if they can put I gotta clean it out today. It's been acting funny. So, and we're in Mercury retrograded. She got an appointment at the doctor soon. One day I'm gonna have a shop where I can get underneath her, whether I get a lift or I'm gonna it'll have a bay that I can get down underneath her to do maintenance. But it's just real easy to take the lid off, the top off. Anyway, that's why I drive old shit. New shit is trash, man. Anybody that would buy a freaking 2020 or older vehicle, like, they don't have any practical sense, and I would never follow their lead. They make parts out of plastic 3D machines now. They print parts. That like, and then people put their babies in these parts, because people don't know what happens with plastic is when there's temperature differences, when it extreme cold to hot, like is going on in California, and they have weird bipolar when it's two extremes. It does the chemical breakdown of the material. It weakens it. So we're gonna have new bumpers put on. I'm gonna see if they can put a shelving system in the back, and then me and Mom will go out, or I'll go out by myself before Mom gets out while she's still snug-a-bug, and then make coffee for people out there in the cold, and then I bring them, I give them like stuff like this, stuff they can use, stuff like this. These canisters are useful. Plus, Primus was my first concert when I was 15, back in the 80s. It's like 88. And then I give them like, what else? I give them these things. Ow. Ah. There we go. Alright, I found it. So I give them stuff. I give people that live outside stuff like these. And then I give them stuff like these to go on these. And then these are real handy. I can order these on Amazon, get them at the post office. I like to get like 5 of them, right? And these are handy because you can use these on this and cook your shit. And then this has like measurements on the side, and you can make an egg or two. Little skillet on this, right? Because I've just been a traveler like a hobo my whole life. And then this one has a handle, and it has like this. I think it would be better to go that way, right? You can make stuff like that. You can be done with your eggs. So this is what I give to people. Just strangers, because I'm pretty sure that's what the Jesus Christ frequency would have me do. And then, and then you could go, I could put my stickers on them. Boop. Right that. Straight people, like, I could put my stickers on them. Or magnets. Maybe magnets. Would the magnets stick? Who knows? So, that's my contribution to the world. And I don't even charge people like $800 for a reading. Like, people want to know about their life. All we got to do is sit and have a conversation, and I can help them how to figure out who they are on their own path without having to pay people $300, $400, $500 for readings. Yep, for fun and for free. But I then look at how many people are going to be terribly disappointed because people aren't going to spend that much money on their readings because they can do their own shit. And then, does that fit in there? Yes, canister fits in there. And then they don't have enough money for their F-350s and to go to Disneyland. So I guess if they can't do that stupid shit, they're just going to have to find more practical things to do. So I'm going to see if I can have shelves and stuff like that. I love Enigma. They were such a good band. I'm glad they were never so huge I can't listen to them ever again. Enya was like that too. I like those things that fly under the radar of obscurity and mediocrity. That's me, huh, Mom? Yes. We're nobody. You know why we're nobody? It's a play on words. I wish I could hang out with people that I wouldn't have to explain myself to. That would be a glorious thing. That's why I talk to myself on the internet. It's my daily diary where I can express myself in all those ways that I just let it go because explaining myself is not worth exuding the energy. So when I say I'm nobody, it's not that I think that I'm nobody on planet Earth. It's not that. That's stupid. I've done too many things. I have too many photographs and have a laundry list of been there, done that people don't want just because I'm clearing up karma in this incarnation. I don't want to do shit again, so I'm just freaking marking shit off the list here, that's all. And so when people put themselves in loops and every year they just go, they do their same life, they just do it in a different place, and they don't do anything to enhance that any area of their lives. They just go and live in the lap of luxury. They're fucking NPCs as far as I'm concerned. You know? And like I was saying, all these people, I always lived in these places where all these retreat centers, all these places where people go to heal. Okay, I don't have any desire to ever go to Sedona in my life. I grew up in Mount Shasta. I live in Taos. Like, I've been to Crete, Greece, like Napoli, Italy. Like, I mean, I've in parts just all places in between. Like, I've seen all these beautiful heaven on earth places. Okay, so when people just like they spend so much money to go to these retreat centers, I always wonder, like, to what means, to what ends. Like, once they heal, like, how much healing do they have to do before they start recognizing that money is a made up paradigm and is a tool that should just, if I'm comfortable, if me and mom are comfortable and we have enough food, and I just get, every month I get so much money in the bank that I have so much extra, why wouldn't I use my extra to buy more of these and put my stickers on them and give them to people that haven't figured out how to tap into that? Because the flow of economics is a rigged reindeer it's a made up game. It's a game like everything else. And there's people that like to play games for fun, but they don't like to play games for livelihood. And when I say a game, like, people toy with people. I couldn't get food stamps when I needed food stamps when I first moved to Taos. And I haven't needed food stamps in a very long time. I made myself financially self-supporting. The thing of it is I became a stay-at-home daughter, and the system isn't made to help people like me. We are on our own. If you have someone that can't take care of themselves in society, if you do not have a support system, good luck finding a way to live comfortably for you and that person. Because I've been dealing with that. Now we're cool. Now it's like, woo, we got the flow. I'm in the flow. Like, I got more money than we need, so I go out and I buy these for people that live on the street. Because they're handy. And then I just put it down. I give them this stuff, camping, cooking stuff, so they can put it in their backpacks. Oh, they don't have a backpack? Here, let me get you one. There's all kinds of socks in there. If you're a lady, there's feminine hygiene products. There's, like, a nice spoon. Like, that's the stuff. I give people shit they can use. See, all these false for profits, all those non-profits, they give them what? Lip balm? Like, what, I'll give them a space blanket, because people that have, and I can tell you why. You know why the system is broke? Because it's made up of the most important cousins. Those people in every family, governments, every organization, it's all made up of people that have always just gone around and done whatever they want. And they've always been taken care of. They've never been on the side of the road, broken down, freezing cold. Like, am I going to live through this? Like, they've never been in a situation like that. They've been coddled and carried and given the good job. And then they're put in positions of power where they're supposed to designate how to make things better for who? No, not for everybody. Only for themselves. Because people that have always been taken care of have no idea what it takes to take care of somebody else physically. My own brother never even took care of his own daughter. His wife went off on a girls' trip as soon as his daughter was born, like a week. I don't know, they went off to eat the placenta in the woods or something. I don't know. People do weird shit. So, kid was like a few days old. Did my brother want to take that opportunity to bond with his newly born? No. The baby went to go stay at Grandma and Pappy's house. Like, there's people that create things and they're never accountable fully for the things that they create. And then the rest of us accountable people just have to go around picking up garbage and cleaning up messes of cars and their broken parts, because got all these don't you know who I am people that drink on Friday and Saturday nights, and then they feel bad about something. Who knows if it happened then or 20 years ago. They go out racing around because it makes them feel better, and then they wrap themselves around a tree. They wake up the next morning and there's debris all over town, because so many people do this in Taos. It's just like a rinse and repeat thing. You hear the sirens all night. Every time I hear a siren, I'm like, oh, there's just somebody else couldn't control their emotions, but women are supposed to be the emotional ones. But that's all right, because it feeds the system. Because Saturday morning, they probably already picked up at Ricky's all the food for the inmates, and it's Scorpio. We just had a Scorpio moon, so I bet the number's higher than it was last month. And that's how the system perpetuates. So we just stay home, huh, Ma? I love my sticker. I put it everywhere. I'll send it to me. Maybe I'll send Leo Cub a black t-shirt. I don't want him to throw in the garbage though. They're nice shirts, and people, I wonder how many of my shirts have ended up in the trash just because people hate me. They hate what I represent. Integrity, accountability. Work first, play. Make the good tools to make it, fun while you play, and then you can play some more. So I'm trying to figure out where we're going to make our forever home. The good news is we could go any place in the lower 48. As a matter of fact, where do we end up to have our ultimate retreat? Aunt Marge's. Oh, you're broken? Something terrible happened? Go over to Aunt Marge's. She'll take care of you. Scorpio, moon, Cancer, rising. Aries, sun. She'll take care of you. She'll teach you how to take care of yourself, and y'all can have a good time while you do it. No weird stuff, though. Ain't no brothel. I grew up watching Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and Dolly Parton was a pretty lady when I was a 5-year-old girl, but she was always somebody else's wife, and now she's some witch in some convent. It's so weird what life evolves into. Witches make me nervous. Because I know that there's people that have, like, strong power. It's just what they do with it. All these people, like, how many decades? I remember how old I was when she started that book thing. And then every now and again there would be a flare in collective consciousness. Oh, Dolly and her book thing. Dolly and her book thing. Like, how many decades has Dolly given people books? But I have never, in all the travelings I've ever been in, all the people I've ever known that have had kids, not one of them, nor have they known anybody in proximity. Because somebody, you think that, oh, this book, my kid got a book from Dolly Parton. You think that, but no. It's all money laundering. It's all racketeering. Give us your money so we can give it to what we make you believe we're getting it to. That's what Hollywood is. Hollywood and Washington, D.C., they're no different. They're extensions of each other. And the people that run everything, what's ever being run, it's just spoiled brats doing whatever they want. Every time I see Orange Man Biff, I picture him on a playground. He's the dude that stacked the deck. He's the dude that would do things like burn ants on the plate. Like he's the dude that would just everybody would be peacefully doing something, and then there's the disruptor. But it's not the disruptor. I'm a disruptor. I'm a contrarian. I'm all those things like derogatory things. It's like no, he's worse than that. It's just he's the his mama doesn't even like him. Like mom, you know, like because she knows what he created and like how he could have used his. He's a nepo kid. He's a frat boy. He's all of the things that have degraded society. And it's not just him. It's all the guys that are like him. Like my brother is one of him. They're one of him. It's like Virgo men in balance, Gemini men in balance, Pisces men in balance, Cancer. They're the ones that are dominating and controlling the world. Or just like any dude that has emasculated himself in his own mind. Because sticks and stones, right? Nobody can make you feel bad about yourself but you, is what I was always told. So anything anybody thinks of me is none of my business. Whatever, let them have it. Their reality and perceptions of me. And so, like, I was thinking this morning, because we're in retrograde, Mercury retrograde, so I'm resolving a lot of stuff from the past, and I'm seeing things with the different and clear eyes. And my brother hated having me around, because I remember recently about how he slammed my head into the ground and the whole story, and I can talk about it. I could talk about the account, the court of law, the address it happened in, Ford Falcon I drove in, Canario, like everything about that day. And he would just adamantly say it didn't happen. And he's not a good witness. Because he's not a sober guy. He drinks. And I'm a sober person, so that right there makes him an uncredible witness. Alcohol, because people can't, that's why they change their story, because they don't know what happened. And so when we were kids, like, he was so mean to me because he never wanted me to go. Mom would need a break. And so Jerry would go over to Eric Olstad's house or whatever across the street. We lived on Bocelli, and Jerry and Mom would say, "Take Marge with you." And he would resent me so much that he would have to take me, that he would be as deplorable as he possibly could to me. And there was nobody there to help, defend me. So I had to learn how to defend myself from a very young age, because men will feel bad about themselves and then they will take it out on you. And it just happened to a young girl that got killed because a dude didn't like her. And I'm like, I can relate to her, because my own brother almost killed me by cracking my skull into the ground because he got too emotional and couldn't control his emotions. And Mom always taught me how to control my emotions, and I know she taught him the same stuff, only I learned and he didn't. So thank God I had a hedge of protection on my skull that day, and I didn't bleed out from the back of my head. Last conversation and he and I ever had, it's been 2 years almost now. And he said, "What have you ever done for me?" And I remembered, I got this laundry list of all these things I did. Like, I took care of his dog for a year when he was in Iraq. I called him every week when he was in Iraq, and we talked for like an hour. He'd tell me about the lawyer Jag bullshit and stuff like that. Like I kept tabs on him because I cared about him. And then he came back, and that's when he all changed. And so he got, I don't know. They all sacrificed a loved one. My sister was the one that got killed on a motorcycle. But anyway, and I had to remind him during the last conversation we had. I said, "You know what, Jerry?" I said, "That day that you slammed my head in the door, and I didn't call the cops. And that day that I came home and you got upset with Mom and you hit Mom. Mom even said he hit her with this part of his hand. Hi, Tanya. And I came up on Mom, and she had a cut in her eye and was bleeding down her eye. And you were so disheveled when we passed. I said to you, I said, "You hit Mom," and you just ran away like a little coward bitch that he is. That's when I was like, I said I didn't call the cops that time either. So there's two times that I could have called the cops because you couldn't control your emotions as a military member trained by the, you're just there. It's just a place where like he wasn't tough enough to like join the gangs, be on the street with guns and stuff like that. So he just went to the other side, joined the gangs the proper way. He just became integrated in the system. And so I see him, and then I see every frat brat, every sorority. They're all the same. And these are the people that make up the system. Like people that throw their own, literally people that throw their own mother away because they have no soul. And they don't want to know, they don't want the world to know that they're monsters. So they lurk in the dark. They don't stop their evil behavior. They'll get too weird with the people close to them. It'll be too sus. No, they gotta move in the dark. That's why I talk about all my shadow shit here on my tiny tube, because I let the darkness out so it doesn't stay inside and fester. Because then I think about things that don't matter. The only thing that matters is the gift of the present moment. I use the past and the future as reference. And it don't matter what's going on in the whole world. The whole world is just a reflection of me. It's the algorithm of my cave, as I call it. I don't care what goes on in the whole world. I use it for reference. It's, you know, my society isn't collapsing. I'm making plans to build a society. Not a society. That didn't sound right. To build a place where people can get ideas and realize, you know what? However I was living, I don't have to live that way anymore. There's always different ways to live for people to live. People just get caught up in other people's lives and then find themselves terribly, terribly unhappy. And I just want them to know that spend some time in the woods, hang out with the fun guy, eat some of my wonderful candies, my delightful treats. I just ordered sucker trays. I'm gonna make apple caramel canna infused medicine with frequencies, the 111 hertz frequency. According to BZ-tronics, that's the healing frequency for just general pain. I put that into the infused material, whether it's MCT oil, coconut oil, it don't matter. And then I make candy with that. And it just makes people feel good. Because the trick is, if you make people feel better, their body's vibrational frequency can come down to a point that they're not in a fight state, and then they can talk about stuff that makes them frightened, so their body doesn't have to get to fight, because you just don't let it escalate from fright. Then we have more peace on earth. I really wish I could get people to understand the things that I see in my mind, like the fact that we don't have wars on earth unless we have people that are in conflict with themselves inside, because we create a reality out there based on how peaceful we are. And I've had so much justifiable anger in my life, things that just make me mad, that now I think about, and I just have to let go of the vibrational frequency related to anything. I'm looking at the event like I'm watching it happen on TV, but I already lived it, so I know the outcome, so I don't have to, like, want to turn the channel. Like Urkel used to make me want it. He'd make me uncomfortable with his shenanigans, and I want to turn the channel. Or Gilligan did that too. So I want to make a reality on a planet where people don't want to turn the channel. That's why so many people are checking out. Like, because they don't got no options to live a life they want to live. I know, I've been there. All I want is a roof over my head and the freaking cool when it's hot and warm when it's cold, because I've been fucking freezing when it's cold, and sweat balls, 117 degrees with the chicken pox and no air conditioner. That was the first time I was like, I can't live a life like this. I'm ready to go. And the angels wouldn't take me. There's so many times the angels should have taken me, but they left me here. Just so I could tell people that there's things like angels that'll keep you here. Vibrational frequencies that'll hold you when your body can't contain the environment in which you are experiencing. See, I'm not for the mainstream. I'm for people that have lived through hell on earth. Those are the people for I'm for. And I grew up watching Fantasy Island and stuff like that, you know. And the people that come across my path, I might not necessarily like them. Because this world ain't about liking things, it's about learning things. And I have often found that I have learned more from things that I haven't liked than things that I have. Because for years I liked my dad, I liked my brother, and they just did terrible, horrible things. And the only justification that I had for them is, well, I love them because they're my dad. I love them because they're my brother. But those are titles that they never earned. And I look around in the world and I see all these guys that benefit freaking every, you know, they get all, I always thought, I wanted to be a dad when I was a little girl because they always got the best presents. They get tools and stuff like that. But I'd hear about what jerks their dads were, you know? And then I remember, like, they go, or how cool their dads were, or whatever. But then it goes back to how much were their dads around? Were they around them, hanging out with them, playing with them and their toys? How, you know, what would be good for the little girl that played with dolls, you know? To see that even tough guys can play with, you know, they're not big, scary, gruff guys that always lived in their head, right? So it goes back to how, you know, a person is a parent, only a parent when they're with their kids, as far as I'm concerned. And if you're relying on somebody else to teach that little person in a baby form how to be a decent person more than you're willing, it's so funny. I think it's funny when I look at people's I'll look at people's pictures, and they can look at mine. They could look at my pictures too to see my frame of reference. They can if they want. I'm an open book. I've done 2.6 thousand videos. Can you believe that? That's a lot of videos of just letting people into my everyday world so I can just talk about things so that other people hopefully can watch me talk about things and then be like, you know what? I need to talk about things. And hopefully they find a place where they can talk about things so things don't fester up. That's how dis-ease transpires. It's dis-ease in the body transpires from dis-ease in the spirit and the soul and the frequency of what people repeatedly think about. Like, I'll walk through my house. There's this song. It was on an old movie. I was 10 years old first time I saw it. Prettiest Girl was on it. She didn't age gracefully, I don't think, but she used to. Virginia Madsen was a pretty lady, and she was in a movie called Electric Dreams. And she played the cello, I think, with this nerdy guy who got a computer that fell in love with her. And there's this song that the computer composed for her. And it's by Boy George, and it's like there's a part of it goes like love is love is love is love is love, and so I get intrusive thoughts because all we are is antenna. That's all we are. We're not 70% water. Like, data is just transfer. We're sending, receiving, like, back and forth between out and in and ground and up and all the time, right? And people are picking up on stuff that, like, just because in proximity, they're tuning into other people's thoughts, and it's weird. But just know that that's where our free will comes in, is that we have the power not to act on our thoughts. And I was telling this lady last night, a friend of mine, that I said I used to think the darkest things, like, I would visualize going to, like, I don't want to talk about it here, but I would do like terrible things to myself at people. We'll just say things like that, okay? And well, what I know is, I mean, I've talked to counselors, I've been to therapy. You know, it's like there's people that think about things, and then there's people that act on things. I'm more worried about people that go around and do whatever they want. They're like more inclined to be serial killers than poor people on the street. Like, because the people on the street houses, they're having to survive. They're there because they want to, because they're still surviving at some point. When you have people that just go around and do whatever they want, it breaks. They're disconnected from source, from creator. I'm here to create things, to teach people how to find the thing within themselves that they want to create, whatever that thing is. A peaceful environment. We got to do better than fake wrestling and you know, all the crap that they've ever created that gathers on Roku or the Fire Stick or these hubs where people just get sucked into other people's creations, you know? So I'm making my travel center, retreat center, where women can come, you know, maybe young, effeminate males. Any other dude that, like, you know, my mom had enough sense to teach me how to take care of themselves, and I wasn't really very well equipped then they should have more sense than me. So they're pretty much on their own. Men helping men. So my retreat center is gonna have a place where travelers can come, and I'll teach you how to work on their car and stuff like that, and I'll help them work on it and show them that they have the ability to do things that any voice ever told them in their head they couldn't do. Because I got past every award I got, every place I ever went, it got past some voice that told me I couldn't do it. Everything I ever did, I got past some fear that told me that I couldn't do it. That's more remarkable than sitting at home hiding because afraid to do shit. Doesn't make for very good stories in life at all. So I'm excited for my future. I don't know if I've ever like been excited for my future. Honestly. I just have been so locked in on the frequency of getting to a point to survive. And to me is that surviving to me is living like we're living comfortably. That's what surviving is. Like, I don't have to go to work. I can't tell you how many days I wake up lately just so happy that I got plenty of money in the bank to do whatever I need to do, take care of any maintenance on the car, anything. I just bought a diffuser. I'm up in my flour candy making game. And no more toaster oven. I've been making cookies and evolving that that random act of kindness that I've loved doing for fucking as long as I've been doing my YouTube videos. I've been giving people cookies and stuff because I can give people peace, and then I can teach them how to maintain their peace in themselves. And more people do that, then we'll have less war on the earthly plane. Seems to make sense because I've been through hell. I haven't just been sitting, you know, having to move from one studio to another. I've had to fucking move from one state to another to keep my mom out of a home. Because when I was a 15-year-old girl, I promised I'd never put her in a home because she said, Marge, don't ever put me in a home, please. And I said, okay, Mom. It's you and me. Yeah, you can tell a lot about people and their connection to spirit source with their physical appearance, how they take care of their soul sack. Because if I know right off the bat, if people don't do anything to try to take care of their soul, their sack in which their soul is contained, then we will definitely not be in alignment. So it's like that book, Go Dog Go. Do you like my hat? Do you like my soul? No? No, I do not like your soul. Okay, have a nice day. You too. Be well. That's how I travel on this earth. And I try to connect with people because I think they're cool. And it's so funny how dude was like talking trash because my memory came up. I forgot. I mean, I didn't forget about that, but I forgot about the entail. But then in my memory came up from 6 years ago, and I did a video called I Got Censored by a Cub, Not a King. And then I reshared it on my YouTube video. And then so I was like, I said something to him on Twitter. I think it was Twitter, and he just came back. Oh, this is what I said. It's hilarious. I said, it was something like, I said, is that you or is it AI? Because AI is a lazy man's tool. And he's like, it's me. And then he said I was bashing him. And if you go look at the comment, I didn't say he was a lazy man. That is not what I said. I said AI is a lazy man's tool. So in my mind, because I use it, I don't like it. I mean, I use it because it's all what runs all the search engines now. You don't have a choice. It's the algorithm has been handed over to fake bullshit. I was trying to explain to somebody last night yesterday that I do these videos as to be a voice in the collective consciousness that most people don't get. I don't even think there's anybody out there that is even close to imitates me. Like, I see so many of the same, whether it's on Facebook, like so many of the people that the vibrational frequency, like the little butchy chicks that are married to old men. Like the little tank girls. I like to girl like that. And I get why the guys, they usually are like they're what they call the I can't help myself. Anytime a fucking pervert says I can't help themselves, I think, well, they need to be locked up in a cage. Oh, Bobby Coyle's definitely a fucking deviant. And he might not be anymore. He might has put his eggplant in his pants the day that he married old Lib. But the fact is, of all the years that young women had to walk out of a hotel room to the same scenario because that man that is a pillar of Philadelphia couldn't contain himself. He couldn't hold his emotions, his desires, his perversions. He couldn't do it. So, like, oh my God. So thank goodness she got him off. And, that's what men insist. It's men like him that make up secret societies. And then they have parades for themselves in Philadelphia, like the Gunners. And it's like, well, birds flock together, and you're a freaking creepy, pervy bird. And all. So, like, does that mean you just hang out with all these other creepy pervies? I call secret societies the fraternal order or the fraternal brotherhood of butt stuff, because that's really what it comes down to. Really. America's built on butt stuff. That's what, oh, you're not willing to do what I say? Butt stuff. Like, I'll make you, like, it's just, it's weird. It's a weird existence to be a creator where dominance is based on dudes' physical sensations, driven by things that they've perceived on TV. And I'm glad the patriarchy's dying. And so ever since I've been doing my YouTube videos, I am adding to the intelligence artificial algorithm by being a perception out there that is against mainstream, because I took care of Mom. When society, everybody, even people in AA, put her in a home, you deserve to have a life. I'm like, dude, I promised her when I was 15 I wouldn't. Like, isn't AA about doing what you say you're going to do? Oh no, it's about faking it. It's about lying to people and making them believe you care about. I never could do that. I couldn't be cool to people. I would do as I was expected, but how many times did I have to shake people's hand and I freaking show up in that handshake and I would look at them in the eye and I would let them know that I know they're a piece of shit with my brain juice. Bobby Coyle, fucking that dude was just. I just know who the trash heaps are because they're always the ones that picked on me. I didn't fucking do nothing. I just liked the girl that he liked. I just was closer than in the girl's age. We only had a 7-year age difference, not a 19. You know, I learned a lesson that if a girl don't like it, you just let them go be with whoever they want to be and wish them a good life. I just like to talk trash because of how badly I was treated by a couple people. Because people think that they can trick. Hey, and anybody that has any experience with me and wants to put out there what a piece of shit I am, tag me at Stending Turtle. And we'll see if I still act like that or if I've evolved. Because that's what, being a spiritual being, having a human experience is all about. It's about evolving into being the ultimate creator. And feed. It should be a contest how many people you can feed, clothe, help get off this. It should be fun to help people, but no, people just sitting there, go big red and colonial holiday bullshit where they eat like it's dumb and they eat. Oh, it's. I remember one time we had a good Thanksgiving, so let's just keep trying to create that. They'll go here to do it, and they'll go to there to do it, but people don't understand. Wherever you go, there you are. That's why it doesn't matter where we live. Because wherever we live, I'm going to create an environment that's comfortable for mom. And then I'll make the best of the environment around me. It's always the people that suck wherever I go. I don't want to hang out with the people. They're dumb. They pretend to be all genuine and authentic. And they're fake as fuck. And they don't even want to hang out with me. Because they know I'm going to figure out. It's like they know that I know they're fake as fuck. But they don't want the whole world around them for me to openly to explain and put on blast in all the ways inauthenticity oozes out of every single pore of them. Because I know myself so well, I'm at that place where I just mirror other people. Other people I see like, yeah, I used to feel inferior. I don't feel that way anymore because I have all these abilities. I mean, since I was a 12-year-old girl, we like to play cribbage. I came from a game playing family, and I remember going off in the woods and with Tom Carl and with the saw, and it took me 2.5 hours to cut a little freaking piece of manzanita that big around. Because I saw it. I was looking for the right, and I was looking for the right piece because I had a vision in my head, and he helped me create a cribbage board because I wanted to give it to my brother for his birthday. I made the little pegs. I didn't get to touch the hot brass. He molded that, but like I got to peg with the drill press. It was a beautiful because manzanita is a beautiful wood. I've been just creating stuff, right? I think my brother looked at it and we put brass tacks in it. Like it was cool as shit. It just ended up in a closet somewhere because he didn't care about me, so he didn't care about nothing I made. So when I see things, people that the thoughtful ones, those are the ones that I'm looking at. The creators, those are the people I'm looking for. Though I want to invite. I'm gonna make pamphlets up. Come out and hang out with Heyoka named Marge. I'll give them I'll give them all my links. They can look up who I am and see if I'm someone they want to spend time. I'm gonna have a rage room on property, which is also gonna help because I can drive around in proximity. So I'll put out there recycle. So I could go around in the community and when people, because there's so many people that just they go these TVs because they play video games. They're always got TVs and TVs only last 2-3 years. So I just be like, freaking message me. I'll come pick up the TV, and then I just incorporate it into the inventory. And then when people come on the retreat, they got rage rooms. Get that shit out, man. Get that shit out. So people need to stop getting. I know how to get shit out because I got it out of me. I ain't mad no more. I ain't mad. I ain't mad about nothing. Because I see every person I meet that at some point the way time is, and the way this human experience that I've come to know is that for every person I meet and cross paths with, our frequency, we end up on each other's radar. I will be them at some point, and some point there will be me. And everyone here is for me to learn more about myself and how I act when I meet them. I dig Carl Jung, man. Carl Jung is so badass. This is the shit I interpret. I put all these smart people things because I always wanted to learn and hang out with these smart people, and then I got the opportunity to just hang out with these spiritual giants. And then I looked at what these spiritual giants do with their free time, and I figured out they're not really so spiritual, because I want to use my free time making coffee for homeless people and shit like that. Not sitting on a couch watching the same football game transpire between different jerseys for, the third or fourth decade. That ain't going to help nobody. While people just, their brains get more and more saturated with booze. Evidently, it's a wedding thing for adult ass men to be, instead of flower children, the flower whatever, whatever, that now they have people that throw like beers. Like, alcohol causes 7 kinds of cancer. 7. Butt cancer, gut cancer, throat cancer, brain cancer. Like, it just rots your body. But it tricks people and believing them that they're living that best life and they're going to do whatever they want whenever they want to, because it allows their ego to kick in, because it blocks them from their connection to Creator, because they get stuck in a thought process, whether they're just trying to create a good time or they're trying to run from a bad time. And I see so many people, even sober, like, you get a snapshot of somebody, of their remorse. They're thinking about, like, how they don't deserve this wonderful life because of what a piece of shit they use. I've seen it, like, too many, because they all end up the same. People, I don't have regrets because I did everything I was called to do. Take care of mom. Okay. I had a dog. Take care of your dog. Well, at the time, mom could still take care of herself, so I enlisted to take care of my dog. I just did things during that enlistment so I could set myself up later to make life more comfortable for me while I honor my commitment of taking care of my mother. And I live in a world where people would just rather put them in a home, somebody else's problem. See, somebody else is somebody else's problem until they themselves become somebody else's problem. You better hope that there's somebody there that's going to be willing to help you. That's why I give my cookies away. That's why I do all this stuff, is that because it's like insurance. It's like an energetic bank. It's like I'm going to keep putting goodness out there, so when I'm at my, when I'm jumping off into the dark abyss, I don't have to worry, because Creator's going to put a stepping stone there for me. Because when people prayed for an earth angel, I got to be a stepping stone for them. And that makes me hopeful for the prospect of a very positive future. For just being mom and whoever wants to be a part of it. See, I spent 5 decades of trying to be a part of other people's shit. Being a good little soldier, and I did it. I won awards. I did big things in a very short period of time of my life as 3D Earth. And then what I decided is it's gross and I don't want to do that shit. So I'm going to go make a place for me. And if people want to go visit that place and come and sing karaoke and have a good time. Nothing to be afraid of. No reason to be mad. If people don't feel like your friend in that present moment, separate and we'll come back again later. Things are looking up. It's pretty cool. Anyway, good old standing turtle. I just did a little short video yesterday. I was cooking burritos with mom in the air fryer. She was standing there, and so I did like a little. I didn't post it anywhere. It's just like a little, you know, yammering it up and chopping it up with mom. Cause I'll make cooking. I'll make making candy with Marge videos and the kid. That's what I did when I was growing up. My life was so hard. The reality, and mom wouldn't let me escape from my reality. She would, she would impose like, okay, there's a reality and there's dreamland, right? Like you, and she was adamant and making sure I knew the difference between fantasy land and reality. And so my conception of reality is much different than most people in the program. That's why we just don't jive. I'm like oil, they're like water, I'm water, and their oil is more like it. And so I couldn't live in La La Land, and I'd have to. But with the times that I'd get to imagine, I would check out and I would go into the ethers and I would use my imagination, and then I would think about like how I could make a better world with my imagination, like because I would just imagine a world where like the sucky environment that I was going through, it didn't exist. So whatever suck I gotta go through right now, that I'll be the last kid that ever has to go through this shitty environment, this shitty thing. And I had to go through a lot of shitty things, different shitty than the usual. You know, my parents split up, they got divorced. I was 40. I found out I was a bastard. That my parents weren't even married. But that's the thing. Is like we had to move to Reading, and then later I found out that my dad's Freemasons, and then I was told that we had to leave and move away from them because they wanted to take me off to Montana and hunt me in the woods. And then now the storylines that come out about hunting people, I was just like, I wonder if I would have gotten away. And I think about all the people that didn't get away. Like, what kind of demonic, evil, fucking sadistic, like, and people have been hunting people for every time there's large, like, you look at it, every time you look at it, like, they have large hunting reserves. That just gives rich people permission to do whatever they want behind locked doors. So it's not just the Bohemian Grove or whatever. It's all these large game hunt, and it's all over the world. They're all the same. The elites are creeps, and they just do whatever they want. And they're not here to create. They're here to destroy. And it's not just destroy things and drop bombs on the earth and hurt the earth. It's destroy and cause harm to all living things. It's to hypersexualize little boys and little girls so it breaks their brains, and then that perpetuates and feeds the whole, makes all the Epsteins okay. Because they all think that they're super creepy, super DNA ideas of grandeur, and what they all want to spread their seeds. So whenever I see people that have 9, 10, 11, 12, it's like, you don't hang out with these kids, you just made them, and then make a world for the rest of the people that have to deal with them. Kids are great. It's the parents that ruin them. And how many people walk the earth because they're ruined because their parents are shitty? How many people do I see? I freaking cracks me up. I see people. I'll go their social media page and I'll see people with their kids, and you could already tell the kids fucking can't stand the parents, and the parents know, but they're doing whatever they can to be their fucking kid's buddy. But it's futile. It's futile. Because people have children, and then these children are karmically, quantumly, and cosmically, like, their little bucket of every good and bad intention that they themselves have ever had, and then you mix that with another person's bucket, and if people don't fix their shit, you're just making another bucket of crap. Another crap stain on the fabric of society. I'm in New Mexico. They're everywhere. It is so I don't go out very much, and then I go out and then I'm like, what are all these? What is? I want to go out and do a live feed, and you could just see all the little hitos, freaking with the zoomies and their big trucks. They're all their lifted trucks. I got a lifted truck. I could still change a tire. I could. Oh, I gotta go buy. I gotta go buy a new tire to put on the spare. I just thought of that. I gotta go see the folks. Yeah, I'll just leave it with them. They take good care of me. So I gotta put I got new tires and I want to put a new tire on the spare. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so Grandma was a real estate agent, and she would take me to places where she had open houses and stuff like that. And I would watch her, like, she would go out and do the signs later. I think she paid people to do it, but she's a Sagittarius. She did a lot of shit on her own. December 11th. And so, but we'd go to these places in Atascadero all over, and they'd have, like, secret rooms and stuff like that, and they'd have, like, pools, and some of them, the people would still live there, and some of them, they'd be empty. And if they had pools, I would always ask, does it have a pool? And then that carried over when I'd go home and Mom would make friends and we'd go over to people's houses and I'd be like, does it have a pool? Because, I don't know, every place has the potential to have a pool. I should really live in a place that has a pool. I got 3 planets in Pisces, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus. I should pool it. Because I like to float. Then I get hot and I get in. I'm more of a floater, but anyway. So, and then so I go to these houses, and when I do this thing where I'd start to imagine and take on a life in these places. And that's really where I was 6, 7 years old. That's really where I began to start seeing how life was like a library. And that people were like books, and they just contained storylines in these books. And a lot of these books had blank pages because they're just it's just a different copy of the same book. And if it's something's the same like that, the page might as well be blank as far as I'm concerned. So I got to see all these blank pages, and I go around and and I want to check out their stories, and like, tell me all the stories that built your life to make you this person that you are now. And then they just tell me, well, I have season tickets to the Broncos, or, I've lived this insignificant day for 5 years, and I've never really impacted anybody else, but I just go around doing what I want, and then I check out because we're not in of alignment. We ain't the same frequency. So, good day. Do you like my hat? No, I do not like your hat. Good day. And when people like gather in places like Disneyland, that's like everybody's wearing a hat. I had a Disneyland hat. My hat was like a trucker hat, and it had Mickey Mouse ears. And I remember I lost it. I set it down to eat breakfast at a hotel in Modesto or Stockton. And that was the last time I saw it. So it's not that I didn't do these 3D earthly things. It's just that I found the consequences of what happens when I do them repeatedly, and then at the same time I have like emotional attachments to physical earthly things. So these are the lessons that I learned. And Mom always made sure I learned lessons. Like there's lessons to learn in every mom is the best mom in the world for me. That's why it is my duty, it is my honor, it is my pleasure to give her a comfortable life, because she tried so hard to give us like an idea of normal. And you want to hear a funny story? Is that we are the Wizard of Oz. My family is the Wizard of Oz. And I'll explain to you right here, right now, and I'm going to get going. When I was in the Air Force, and I always loved little dogs, love animals. Last year I was called the TODO, the Technical Order Distribution Officer. I took care of our daily maintenance manuals. For every maintenance operation, we had an instruction. So you could have changed a tire, you could change a battery, do all these things. You could have done it 1,000 times. You could do it in your sleep, do it over and over and over. It doesn't matter. If you didn't have a TO open to the instruction of where you are while performing that maintenance operation, it's punishable by the UCMJ, okay? So I took care of the whole library. They had all these volumes, and then I'd go through and I'd make sure that there weren't any discrepancies, and if I found one, I could get a check, right? But I was also finishing my last year in college, so my priorities were really not there. But I was the Toto, and it occurred to me probably a year ago. When I was 12 years old, I was junior high, CVI, got a call. My dad got in an accident about 100 miles outside of Phoenix, Arizona. He was driving a truck, and the covert pipes fell over the top of him and crushed him. I wonder if you know what just occurred to me? I just had another vision that he pissed some people off. He pissed the wrong people off, and they kicked the shit out of him. That is really interesting. Because the story said he always said that they packed the covert, because he had a mouth like I got a mouth, and he would, I will never speak to him again. So because he'll never call me. If he ever calls me, I'll ask him. Well, I'm never gonna call him. So So and then they said that they waited a month until after they called us to tell us, because they weren't sure if he was going to live. And then, like, it was the last couple of years I mentioned that. He's like, oh no, they pretty much knew straight away I was going to be okay. But I think that's what happened. I think he mouthed off to someone and got his ass kicked on the road. But anyway, he had to get helicoptered into Phoenix. And and then when my sister died, I was curious if she died in the same hospital they flew him to. So, anyway. But he always had a head injury, and he had to live with his mom and dad for a year and learn how to think and talk. And he had like 3 major fractures in his skull, so he came back just as big as a machismo as he left that version of his previous self. And then I always looked at him like, and he ditched out a mom because he was a coward, so he's the cowardly lion. And then when my brother was in elementary school, I got a picture of him over there in one of those photo albums. He always said mom wasn't there, and he tries to paint a picture of this horrific, but it was a lot worse because he is an imbalanced Virgo, that's for sure. And so he was the Tin Man, so he has no heart. He never got his heart. Right? So Dad was a cowardly lion. Jerry's the Tin Man. And then Mom, what's the other one? The lion? And then the Scarecrow. Mom's the Scarecrow. Because she got her head slammed in a car door, so she had a traumatic head injury too a couple years after that happened to my dad. But she didn't have nobody to take care of her but me, because her parents threw her away when she was a baby, so she didn't have. So it was just me and her, me learning the experience of watching a person go through a traumatic event without any support system. So I had to compensate for a lot of people that weren't there for her. So I was it. I wasn't going to leave her to go through something like that by herself, so I just had to pick up the slack. And so everywhere I'd go, I'd ask people, hey, can you help me take care of my mom? And people are like, no, she's so it's like, but all these people, Scarecrow, yeah, all these people don't take care of themselves, so of course they're not going to do anything to help me take care of mom, because they don't know what it's like, how hard it is. That's how I know I can help so many people on this plane, because I want to make the systems buckle down to help the people that need it, so they don't got people. I want to help make a society where people don't got to turn to drugs and alcohol, so they have better options. Because you can't be impaired and do heavy equipment. And I think about how many people like instead of subduing themselves with booze, they can just go out into an excavator and dig up some ground, so you could, change some plumbing for an old lady who lives in a, or an old man who lives in a dilapidated house. Because I wasn't doing anything anyway. So yeah, I'm the Wizard. I live the Wizard of Oz because I know that it's a show. And Washington D.C. is no different than Hollywood, but people keep buying into both. So what am I supposed to do but sit back and watch? And watch these spiritualists talk about, things that I think they should be doing the things that they talk about doing, but they don't. They still go off and vacation in Costa Rica, and they still go off and do nothing here, and they still go off and how much time is wasted so people do enough work so that they can earn enough fake money so they can go someplace and do nothing. And that's what America is, and it's dumb. So I'm gonna create my own world. Maybe people will come visit, maybe they won't. Oh well. We're good by ourselves, huh, Ma? Right? You about ready to get up, little old lady? You think I'm gonna make some French toast? How's that sound?
No.
Yeah?
Oh, that sounds good.
You were a heavy equipment. I always wanted to learn how to do it, but see, my brother is like so many men in society, is that I can just put me in a bucket and I will figure out how to do it. Like, you don't have, like, you kind of give me, but like, I will, because I got finesse. So I love this stuff. And I remember when I didn't have water for 2.5 years in freaking Oregon, I would go out. I resented the fuck out of these guys because they would make so much noise and stuff like that. But I would watch them, and they were like airplane marshallers to me. There would be one guy in the bucket and one guy in the ground, and the hand signals that the guy in the ground was doing, he was telling the guy what to do with the scoop, and it was like a dance. It was their cadence, and I was like, man, I was like, and they say men can't communicate. It's stupid. I'm seeing it, right? So it was cool. And so I always wanted to just get one and play and just play with it and then go out and help people do what they need because I have what I need. Like, it's a toy to me. So and so I was always good at these things, but then men would be like, "No, you can't participate." And I'd be like, "Well, why can't I participate? I want to do it." Like, whatever there's UFO outings, first thing I go to the ship. First question I ask, I want to drive the ship. Let me drive the ship. Like, I want to learn how to do everything because cooperation is nature's way. And even when you're in a huge piece of excavator equipment, and I used to know a guy named, I used to go to my sponsor's husband, his name was Casey Joe, and dude was one of those huge, ginormous. He was connected. He's probably a Freemason. He's Scottish. I know he was a Scottish Rite Freemason. Dick M was his sponsor. They played bagpipes at the funeral. I went and picked up the cakes. And so I had special abilities, and that takes away from people that can do the thing, but they don't got abilities like me, so they don't want to have to give their seat up. Because they see this bitch is going to take my job. And so that's like, I've seen this in every male-dominated career ever. And that's why I won awards in the military, because I did shit better than other people. My whole life I've been doing shit better than other people. And the people that I do shit better than, they get fucking pissed. And I'm just screwing around playing. And they're like, I can't do what this bitch does, and I've been doing this 20 years. And my question to them is, well, what's wrong with you? So one day I'll have an excavator because I'm gonna have my own homestead. I'm gonna do this shit. It's already done. I just haven't done it yet, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know where it's gonna be there. I got some ideas. I'm narrowing it down, but like I said, I feel like those little ball on the roulettes, and I I'm throwing a fish net out there. I'm first throwing a lobster basket over here. I'm just throwing all this stuff out where I think the things that I want to gather are going to be, or they're going to want to come together too. So there's all these male-dominated careers. They tell you they work hard. No, they're not. They just gather quietly and do nothing, and then go home and tell you how hard they work. So they can justify you having to freaking do everything, and all the women having to do everything in the household. And I see a world where there's so many freaking let the guys stay home and take care of the kids. Like, play your video games all the day, but you got to set the alarm and stop, and then go change the kid's diaper and make sure the house is clean. Like, people play, but work too. It's got to be a work-life balance, and there's a terrible, terrible imbalance on planet Earth. See, the thing is Tanya, come hang out when we get there, because I'm going to have an outdoor kitchen, and it's going to have a pizza oven. Because it's going to be a place where people want to go and be like, shit, this fucking place is cool. And then maybe they can start imagining where they can go home and make a place like that where they live. That is how heaven is made on this earth. Because my body's wearing out. I mean, I got some, but like, I mean, it's amazing that my body's lasted as long as we have, because we only have like I see so many men that were young studs in their, like, because that's what my dad was. And now he feels the effects of all the stupid shit. Because I feel the effects of all the stupid shit I did when I was a kid. Like, every bad decision. Just showing off or being a clown. Just so people would be like, did you see what Marge did? I don't live like that no more, thank God. It's amazing haven't transitioned to the Rainbow Bridge, right? But that's the thing, is I'll put you to work. But see, that's the thing, it'll be so much fun, cool shit, it won't be working. But it's the daily maintenance stuff. So what my plan is, to live within 30, 40 miles from a big city, but be in the woods. We're just going to have our own little mountain in the woods. I'm looking at some properties, some places in different, because I didn't realize that Mount Shasta was such a high peak. That Northern California was so high elevation-wise, because I grew up there, and I just didn't realize it. Like, I think the peak here in Warner Peak in Taos, I just know it's not going to be in Taos. I know it's not going to be in Omaha, Nebraska. I know it's not going to be in Redding, California. I know where I don't want to live. Besides, I never get to live where I want to live anyway. It's where latitudinally and longitudinally I am supposed to be frequentially. Say that real fast 3 times. I don't get to live where I want to. I live where my magnetics and my genetics are being called to live. So I can clean up messes that my ancestors have made before. That's why we ended up in Taos. Is I'm just here to teach people that you don't create homes and orphanages so strangers can take care of your creation. You create environments to cultivate an environment where that baby can prosper without being displaced. Whether you want that, it can still be raised in the village. Because mom didn't get to be raised in the village. She was thrown away. So I'm here to teach people that you don't throw away your family away. You create an environment where you don't want to create a person that you throw away. The whole world's got it backwards. I'm just here to straighten them out. It'll be cool. I'm just going to keep doing my little pockets of blessings here and there for random strangers, and I focus on my proximity. Wherever I am, wherever my hands are, I'll just be where my hands are, and try and do the best good in every environment. Just try not to talk too much shit and piss people off too much. You think that would be enough to assure safe passage in all things that I do? I'm gonna keep saying all those whatever prayers in books. I'm like, how is that different than a spell? Like really, like you're trying, like a hedge of protection. That's a spell. I just have trouble with. I don't. I don't align with. That's one thing I got out of AA is I don't align myself with any any religion. I don't believe in politics. There's no denominate. There's like I don't align myself with groups that designate themselves in groups because there's always people in those groups that meet in back dark rooms that do weird stuff. So based on that, there's no group that I want to align myself with because there's always doing people doing weird shit in every group. I don't care if it's Amazon. I don't care if it's G4S Secured Solutions. I don't care if it's the United States. It's always people that have their own agenda separate from what everybody else wants. And like when people like say, "Oh, I'm a witch. I'm a witch." When I was a little girl, like I found them scary because like we'd go to plays Hansel and Gretel and what the witches do and stuff like that. They eat kids and there are people that eat kids and stuff. So it's like I don't really want to identify and line people that identify and it's cool that people identify and align themselves with. That's fine. Whatever. To each his own. I just want to let people know that I'm not in alignment with that. And anybody that's going to do something or say something or make an elixir that wants to fuck with my free will, unbeknownst to me, I take issue with that. That's not what, that's that like demonic to me. That's ill-willed. That's malicious intent. That's deception. That's all the things that I'm not about. So just want to let people know that whenever they label themselves as things that they're aligning them things with things oftentimes that they might not then know that they're like they might think it's cute and sweet and they're playing around and it's all fun and games until you're getting chased in the woods. That's all. I don't care how people live, what people do. There's just consequences to their actions. Because people do stuff, and then I tell people stuff that people do, or because they've done it to me, and that's my experience with them. And then they get mad at me because then people recognize who they really are. Shouldn't have acted like that. You know how many times I've had scenarios in my mind where I play like a tape, like a reel on TV, like when I'm standing in front of somebody and somebody's getting stupid or something, and then like I play back a reel like, hey, remember when you saw that episode of Walking Dead and that freaking zombie went up and just bit that person on their freaking nose? Right? Like, and then turn it into a cartoon. You always got to make it a cartoon. And then, like, play that out, right? How many times does that happen just because people got to get stupid? But I don't ever act that stuff out because you keep your hands to yourself. You don't hurt people. You don't cause harm. That's the goal. Don't cause harm, and then harm doesn't come to you. But that hasn't been my experience in my life. I've been happy-go-lucky, get along with this person and that, and harm has still come to me. So what I had to learn is to trust my own discernment. That's what life is about. Stop trusting people you know aren't trustworthy. Stop putting faith into people that are going to let you down. We break our own hearts every day by thinking people are going to be a better version of themselves when every year we watch them become a worse version of themselves. We lie to ourselves. We need to stop doing that. I need to stop. I'm trying to say, I don't have any people in my life. There's not really any place where I lie to myself. I lie to myself in my own community when I think I'm surrounded by really cool people. Because I go out and I'm cool with people and I do cool stuff. And then they're so shitty. And I don't want to do nothing with them anymore. So I'm going to pack up my stuff and we're going to go live someplace else. Where maybe the people will be cooler, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to build my own fortress of solitude. With the mission of inclusion, where people can just come and hang and talk about ways to improve the environment in which they live. That's all. It ain't rocket science. Rocket science is all fake foolery anyway. NASA's a psych op. America's a lie. It's built on butt stuff. I'm sorry for my service. Hope you have a rad day. Peace. Mom, I'm hungry.